Before we begin, let's take a closer look on what makes a website. How does it all work? How is it all strung together? First of all, a website is fundamentally a collection of different pages, HTML pages that is. So if we take this example that I've got, we can have a small home HTML page, about, services, documents, contact and tips, all different HTML pages that are ultimately linked to each other through HTML and through CSS. We've then got sub pages in those sections. So under services we could have web design and technical writing if we wanted to. These pages could be Flash pages, it could be YouTube pages, and you get the idea. One thing that all websites must have is a home page. Now the home page must be labeled as .index.html, so index.html. This must be labeled as your home page. This is because that what happens when you type in URL in your browser, the browser specifically searches for a file called index.html. It picks out that file and it displays it. So let's have a look at this in action. What I'm going to do is go to Google, and I've just typed in a URL like so, and you'll see it displays Google, and there you go. What I'm now going to do is type in .index.html. Specifically look for that page, and what will happen is that you'll see it's loaded up the same page again. So that is a prime example of searching specifically for the HTML page. You shouldn't necessarily have to do that. If you enter the URL, the browser does that for you, and it uploads and it displays your .index.html file. We can do another example. So I'm just going to go to my web page, and here the browser has specifically looked for the HTML file and displayed it as normal protocol. And what I'll do, I'll type in and I'll look for .index.html, and again nothing happens, so you'll see that it's loaded what it's supposed to load, the index.html, the home page file. Some websites you actually see .index.html, others you don't. Again, these are small little things that you would have to discuss with your service provider. I'll go through in detail a bit more about a few tricks on index files and all that in later tutorials. Okay, another quick thing is that ensure that you name the index.html file appropriately. So it has to be index.html, and that will be the home file that the browser displays. In that file we can also include things like meta tags and helpful information about the website, which we'll look at a bit more in a little bit more detail in later tutorials. But that's all I wanted to cover for the moment.